Absolutely.
All righty. Welcome to Career Conversation with Dai Smith, Dr. Pinkston. I always tear that name up.
Third time's a
And we
charm.
and we have a recording artist, Assata, who will be joining us shortly. So we're going to go ahead and get in here in this conversation. She just popped in. There she is. She's coming on through right now. Asada, if you don't there you go. We have Asada here. She is a recording artist, and we'll let everybody introduce themselves here shortly. Um, rec-
I'm sorry.
if that's okay, we're actually going live, Asada. So if
Okay.
there's any background noise, it's going to get picked up through everyone.
Okay.
Today's
So go ahead before you get started. I know he
we're
wasn't
already
We
invited,
are
live.
but
started.
We're
Yeah.
already
okay.
live.
Yeah,
We're
we're
already
live.
live.
We
We're
got a new
live.
live. Okay.
Yes, you might want to move. Yeah, we're live. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, we're the conversation today is putting yourself out there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start at the top with Dr. Pinkinson. If you could you go ahead and introduce yourself? And you guys know I am known for tearing up names. It's not personal. I don't know what that's all about. It's just blame it on my mom and dad.
It's all right because I do the same thing. You ever watch my podcast, you're going to see
Yeah.
me do the exact same thing. So, not to worry.
God.
I
Okay.
am Dr. Marianne Pinkston. I'm a family practitioner and integrative medicine specialist in San Antonio, Texas. And I have been doing this for 26 years and seeing patients. I have a clinic where I do all the family practice things, but I also do a lot of integrative medicine. So I do a lot of autoimmunity, hormones, weight loss, things like that. Also have a podcast, YouTube, and radio show here in San Antonio, but also nationally. I'm also on Sirius XM and love that. That's my baby and my fun life as I get older. That's, transitioning over to things I like to do instead of things I have to do.
Hmm.
And so that's basically it. I have a history of being 300 pounds, losing 171 pounds, and rheumatoid arthritis and things like that. So that's kind of the short story.
That's amazing. Every time the first time you mentioned that you had lost that weight, I'm like, I can't even imagine you
Right.
being any other size because a lot of times when you have such a drastic loss of weight, you can really tell it, and you just look so healthy. So
Thank
we're
you.
gonna.
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
just so proud of you. You
Thank
look
you.
very good. And Day Smith, if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and what you have going on.
Yes, I am the owner and founder of Simplicity by Day. It's a productivity coaching company. We support small business owners with getting more digitally organized. So, email management, project management, all the things digital. We help people to be more present, more productive, and profitable by getting them organized. And so, I've been in business. This is my fourth year in business, and I am a full fledged mompreneur, mother, wife, corporate professional, all the things. And so I serve that community through various outlets. And yes, that's a little bit about me.
Okay, and then I am moving over to Assata Storm. If you don't mind, Assata, you're the first time joining us on this career conversation. Gonna ask that you, if you could, just kind of be a little stationary
Okay.
because it's gonna kind of pick up from everybody else as we're doing this because it's actually you have to be stationary. And then if you could tell them a little bit about yourself and. Uh, you want us to kind of take you off a little bit right now because
Yeah, give me 1 second if you
okay, we'll
can.
take you off and we'll come back. We'll come back. Okay. Alrighty. While she's getting set in there, we'll just take this conversation and keep going, ladies. Well, again, we had to come back. I enjoyed you guys so much last time, as well as the listeners. And then I took your advice of making it a little longer. So we're just gonna go there today. We're gonna put ourselves out there. What if I just would start off with for you when you hear the word or the words putting yourself out there? What does that mean to you, Day?
Ooh, just being vulnerable, um, being stepping out of your comfort zone. That's really what that means. Stepping out of your comfort zone, showing people who you are instead of who you perceive to be. I definitely think that's what comes up with me when I think about putting yourself out there.
Okay. And with you, Dr. Pinkerton, what does that mean to you?
I love how she said that because being
Yes.
vulnerable is a huge part of that. I think you think about putting yourself out there, you kind of get frozen for a minute. It's like, oh, I've got to be perfect. I got to have my game together. It's got to all look good. And no, you don't. You just have to
Mhm.
start somewhere. So putting yourself out there is being brave and taking a chance and just believing in yourself and just, dreaming, saying you can do it, and then just taking that first step. That's it. Easy.
And I think for myself, when I think of, and I like that too. I like what both of you all said. But for me, when I think of putting yourself first, as mothers, as entrepreneurs, as women, we're always concerned for others, to the
Mhm.
detriment of ourselves. Even with us stepping out there and starting our dreams, we're counting the cost on how is that going to impact someone else. Do we ever take the time to really think about, if we don't get started, how is that going to impact us? God gives us all a charge to do in life, and when He gives us that charge, I'm sure in time, He with our mates, our soulmates, our mates, He speaks to them, but He speaks to us first. And so, if I believe in my heart that if you're grounded and you're listening, you got to move, because you can't really just sit there worrying about how it's going to come off to other people.
Right.
So, we're going to put ourselves first today. And in putting ourselves first today, Dave, let's talk about when you decided, and both of you guys jump in anytime, when you decided that you wanted to start your business. You're in corporate America, you're doing your thing. Oh, you wanted to start your business. What was that like, and how did you feel about that?
I felt very apprehensive because I did have little kids. Both of my kids, I had two kids under three. They were little,
Uh-huh. Okay.
and I had a job. I was afraid because was used to this security, this structure, and then to say I want to do something completely different, scary. And I also felt selfish because I knew that I would be having to give time to something outside of my family. I felt selfish. Um, but like you said before, Val, I felt like I had to try
Yeah.
because it felt like something within me that was pushing me to be an entrepreneur, to walk down this path. And I don't think I would have felt fulfilled. And I may have been resentful had I not. So I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to put my big girl panties on and just start to do it.
And
And
go for
that's
it.
what it was, yeah.
You
Yeah.
nailed that exactly. It's like, there's something inside that is stirring, and you can't fight that. You just can't. And I, also thought about something too. I really wanted to show my kids
Mm,
what it's like to be successful and to dream and to go for the big things in life and not to regret, not to build on regrets. But I also wanted to show them that, and we kind of talked about it in the last show, about showing them a different path than what we, like Value and I, might have been taught when we were younger, where women had to, be at home and take care of the family and sacrifice ourselves. That it's not about that. Break that chain
Yes.
and
Yes.
show them that they can do this, and I felt obligated almost to step out and do something different. And
Well,
so
actually, it's so freeing. But before we go any further, we have Assata Storm. Thank you, Assata, for getting yourself in, and we're excited. But if you could go ahead and welcome to the conversation. Introduce yourself. Tell everyone that's out there listening and to the panel who you are, where you came from, what you have going on.
First, can I please just apologize for that moment?
yeah.
Thank you.
No,
Okay.
no.
And then, see, because one thing I do realize, we're on the Val, the Love and Victory show. So,
No,
right, I mean,
we're not on the Love and Victory show today. We're on the career VK career conversation.
see, she does so much, I have to keep
This
up.
lady's everywhere.
The career. Gotcha. So, I am Assata Storm, and let's see, where do I start? I'm actually let's do with the caregiver first. I've been a care in the healthcare field for 27 years. So I've been a senior care provider for that long. Started when I was a kid, just loving people. I did childcare before I did that. I've always been into music from the inside out. So what I do now is travel and perform in and out the country and in other states. I've always done music inside of, even when I was a teacher, I used music inside of my classrooms, whether it was rhythm and different things. And actually it provided different outlet and different avenues for children who weren't to go to the board children, or you can just give them a work. So it gave me different ways to provide different ways to teach and show children who, different ways of learning for the different styles of teaching for different children.
Yes.
As far as the music, I was signed to Virgin Records first, Rap a Lot. So it's so much. Sometimes I don't get asked this a lot. So, and then when it happens, it just flows and goes and goes. I see so many things happening. So again, I was signed to 2 major labels. I've released music on both of those labels. I'm an independent artist now. I have music out on every digital platform. First time grandmother, so I'm just happy. As far as everything I do in my life, it has to do with sharing with other people. My daughter, as far as being successful, when I decided to get into the music part, because it was a different field, it was a little more challenging.
And we're going to talk about that challenge as we're putting ourselves out there today. But what I
Okay.
really want to say about Assata, she has a special place in my heart, and I felt she's the perfect person to be on this panel today because we're on the panel of career conversations, and we have so many different career paths, and I felt like us ladies out here, I have a physician on here. I have an entrepreneur that is podcast. She's also in the healthcare as well. She is and I have Assata, healthcare, music, and then myself. So I think it's so much we have to deliver, and I think what's so important is we're letting people know it doesn't matter what you decide to do, just start doing
Do it.
something.
That's right.
It's something on the inside of you that is motivating you or pricking at you to get going. Just get going. You don't have to figure it all out. You figure it out while we're going, while you're there. Just start moving. So with that being said, Dr. Pinkston, when you decided to become a physician, did that path start with you saying, I want to be a physician?
It's funny you asked that because my mom tells me from way back as even a almost toddler, I guess, or 3, 4, 5 years old, that I had always said I wanted to be a doctor. I never wanted to be anything else. Well, I mean, there may have been time I wanted to be a flight attendant or a fashion designer, but, how kids do, or a princess, who knows? But no, I've always wanted to be a physician. So I was squared away in my brain from an early age that I knew what I wanted to do. Didn't know how to do it, where to do it, how to develop it or anything. And this was back in the 70s. So, it was a different time and age entirely, but I always knew that I wanted to do that. Always.
Okay. When I think about it, and I know we have someone out there listening, we have some young adults or even older, matured adults that are really deciding or trying to figure out how to put yourself out there, how to get started. How did you decide, Dai, or Assata, whoever wants to jump on this, how did you decide to put yourself out? The day that you walked into, okay, I made my mind up. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to sing. I'm going to be a physician. How did you decide to just open your mouth up to someone that's close to you? How did you decide to get going?
Even in the healthcare field, I worked for companies. My aunt actually was one of the first people. She opened her own, and I was her assistant director, and I also went out to clients for her. But at some point, I ran into a client who needed 24-hour care. And I thought to myself, like, wow, if I get a couple other people, this is how I can, the company would start. I named my business Team, the Team. We were just called the Team. and it meant thoughtfulness every awakening moment. And it
Okay.
was a lot. Let our helping hands help your family. So, just like you said, I called up a couple of girls and see if they were interested who were in the healthcare field, and that's what we did. And at first, I was a little apprehensive because it's like, nah. Well, first, I have to find people that were trustworthy to come into other people's homes and that really cared, that wanted to do the job. I didn't want people that wanted to make the money. The money had to be made. You understand what I'm saying? I
Yes.
wanted people. So that was the hardest thing for me. So, but um, it took me some time. I went through a couple of people, and they came and worked with me and everything. I were able to get the clients to hire each one of us. So it was a touch and go thing because when these ladies didn't show up, I had to be there for all of those hours with this couple.
That's
So yeah,
That's
but
wonderful. I like that, and the reason why I want to kind of, and I don't want to cut anybody off. I want to
no, you're
make
okay.
sure that our comments are not too long because I want to get some of the questions. And it wasn't you didn't know this, Asada. Last time we were on, they were coming so fast that we were a little disappointed because I had the time short, and they made me widen it a little more so we can start answering some of the questions. But I want to move on to Day. Can you answer that same question for me too?
Yes.
What
So
did you do? Yeah, go ahead.
since we are on the career conversations, right? I was in my career as a medical sales rep, and I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur one day, right? But what happened is what happens to us in our corporate world. I got laid off,
Mm-hmm.
and I was in the midst,
Forced.
right? I was in the midst of building my career, but it was almost like that push. Like I cried for about 12 hours. I was upset. I was disappointed. And I was like, all right, this is it. I gotta get back to it. And literally a month after being laid off, I had my LLC. So I that's what pushed me. It was God pushing me because I think had I kept that secure job and that mindset, it would have taken me a lot longer to
Mm-hmm.
really go forward with my goals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it was for
That's
me.
what it was.
Yeah.
Okay, and for you, Dr. Pickerson, what was that push that you had to say that you didn't want to go work with a large group, or did you?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay.
That's interesting. Day hit it perfectly. You're forced. And I think that is always a good thing. It always at first is a very traumatic thing, but in the end, it always winds up a good thing. And yeah, a door shuts and you're forced to go a
Mhm.
different way. And that happened to me too. As soon as I finished residency, I, was going to join a big group and interviewed, but a big company here had shut down. There were a lot of doctors who already had panels of patients, were already credentialed on insurances, and they all went and got the jobs. And I was like, okay, I couldn't get a job. So it would forced us to open up our own business. And I'm so glad it did. But, another thing, I'll kind of quickly come at it from another way. And that is what I had a conversation with somebody this morning about wanting to start their own business. And what they are doing is trying to put it all together beautifully from the very beginning. And that keeps stopping her because she can't get certain details worked out. And I told her, stop doing that.
Stop
Just
doing that.
with one person. You don't have a
Yes.
website yet? Doesn't matter. Just
Don't.
start with
Mm.
one
Jump
person.
in, jump
Just
in.
go. And I think that's something that stops people too, is feeling like you have to have it all done at the very beginning and
and I,
perfect.
and I think, and I'm so glad we're having this conversation because I think back to what made me jump out there at the time, six figures, and I'm not bragging. I'm just really telling you, mother of five. And I just couldn't do the corporate thing anymore. I
Mm.
literally felt like I cannot play this game. I was choking, and
Mhm.
every day I was walking in. Nothing against the company. I absolutely love the company. I'm grateful for that experience. However, it wasn't me. I didn't want to play I felt like there was more, and I could do it with my eyes closed, but I wanted to do it differently. I feel like if you're in business and you do business right, the money will come. I struggled with leading with the money first. And when you're in corporate America,
Mhm.
they lead with money first, and they get it right. So I have a couple of questions that just jumped in, and we're going to kind of answer some of those questions. And this is coming from Michael. Hi, Michael. Thanks for jumping on. Do you think it's wait? Do you think it's different when you just want to make money and when you just want to do a better job? That goes right back to what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
I'll let you guys jump on that, and then I'll add it in a minute. Go ahead. Anybody want to?
I think
respond to
you
his
nailed
question.
it. I'll jump. I think you nailed it perfectly, and I think you answered that. And it's like there is a difference between
Yeah.
just doing something because and it's not always about being money hungry.
Right.
Sometimes you just have to make money, and you just have to do something for the meantime. But you're never going to be satisfied with that. Really, you're always going to have something that feels like it could work better, do better, and that is the push inside. That's an ethical right and wrong push inside. That you
You
just have
have
to
to.
push for something deeper.
That was a great question, Michael.
Mhm.
I thank you for asking that. We have another one here that just came in, and they're coming in fast. This is from Rosemary Fletcher. What is your biggest fear when you try to maintain both your career and your family? Ooh, I'm gonna give that to you, Day.
I knew you was gonna toss that out to me. I'm
I'm
living.
beyond that part right there.
Biggest fear, Rosemary. Okay, so the biggest fear that I'm going to honestly disappoint,
Fail.
Yeah.
fail my kid, and fail my client. It is external. I'm going to fail the people that depend on me. That is my biggest fear.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and since I said I was gonna give it to you, but I'm gonna go. You guys know anything about me? I'm very honest and so very transparent. 2 years into me starting my company, VK Consultant Group, guess what? I did just that. I felt like the worst. Well, let me back up for that, so guys, so you can understand what I'm saying, Rosemary. But you have to keep going, and this is 20 years ago. Well, 18 years ago. So what happened was, coming from corporate America, you call this department if you need this, you call that department if you need that. There were always resources around you. You go into working for yourself, this is your business, you don't have those extra resources. You're it. Of course, the money, I had a check that was coming in every other week, and it was a pretty good check, but I worked long hours for it. Then, when I said the failure, I actually 2 years in had to file bankruptcy. I was I thought I was astute in doing business, but I wasn't astute in doing business because I trusted that when I did business with people, physicians, sorry,
Is
Dr.
that right?
Pinkston,
Oh,
that they would
what's
do what they said they were going to do. I learned very quickly from physicians, which is my client, that they're just like anybody else. I had to create my contract wasn't tight enough. And so I learned from some behaviors that is just it doesn't matter what business you're in, business is business. And so I trusted that people would do what they say they were going to do. They would pay their bills on time. They would not try to duck out on you. And so I had to find that out the hard way. But the one thing I'm grateful for, and I'm saying all that to on along that question for Rosemary, I didn't quit. I had my husband still behind me, encouraging me to keep going. This was my destiny, and I did have to go through that, file bankruptcy. But on the other side, 20 years later, we're standing and we have a tight contract, and we do great business. So every client we have has been word of mouth. So I hope I answered that question. I hope I didn't go on too long on that. You have anything on Assata you want to share on that as well? Any ups and downs? Let's talk about from the music industry.
Yeah, well, definitely all of them. Same thing like you guys said. What really got me on the entrepreneur thing, I have to be honest. The corporate thing got really. It wasn't for me. I did it because, of course, I had a daughter. You have to do what you have to do, that type of thing. But and I remember in the music industry, I literally set out to be signed to a major label because that's what I thought was supposed to be done. I had an aunt who were already in California. She was actually an attorney. And when I first came up, she goes, "Sweetheart, you're going to have to do this independently." And I remember not even knowing and realizing what she was saying to me independently. I did not get it because all I knew was this major label thing was supposed to happen. And I remember saying to her, I said, "Could you please stop?" And it felt like she was sticking a dagger in my stomach. But two things. I knew what independent meant, but because of my background also and where I was coming from and still trying to find myself, the independent thing, it was the failure thing I was afraid of. So every
Mm-hmm.
time she said it, I can't, and my head kept coming, I can't do, why do you keep saying it? And I can't do this by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So but she kept saying this to me. And in the end, here I am doing exactly what she said 20, 30 years ago. I just didn't see it though. But after a while, I was dealing with it and seeing it in corporate. I didn't see it as it was in affecting me the same way in the music industry. So at the end of the day, I ended up, although I signed to those labels, like you said, the contracts.
Yes.
The first contract, the contract took everything from me that I would have needed afterwards. That
Yes.
I knew what to say, but still could not get past
Yes.
the tongue of the corporate
Yes.
to get
Yes.
what I needed. Even though I was
Yes.
strong enough, I knew what to say, I knew what to do. I still couldn't get past it. But because I wanted something, I, but I was blessed to be able to come out of it. So, but just saying yes, the ups and downs, and it was something. Then being a female, not being funny, the industry was very male dominated at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot with that. So even maintaining self esteem, my morals and standards, and knowing self worth.
That's
So it
thank
took a
you.
lot,
Yeah,
I will
it takes
say.
a lot, and we
Well
have to
said.
get through it.
Well
Well
said.
said. Well said. I am going, Dr. Pickerson. You want to add anything? I actually have another question coming in. You guys, we're sitting right now with. I saw the numbers earlier. We're sitting right now with
It's
362
great.
viewers on here right now.
Great.
So we
Yeah.
have to kind of keep
Let's
them.
go. Go. They said it. They did great.
Yes,
You all
we
did
got to
great.
keep it going. And I don't want to feel like I'm cutting anybody off because your comments are very important, but we want to
You're
make
good.
sure that we're getting their stuff in as well. Okay, so we have one coming here from Todd Garrett. What is this?
Garrett.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ooh, good
As we are
question.
talking about business, how did you maintain your business during the pandemic?
Yeah.
What problems did you face? That's a great question because we all had to learn to do business a little different. I'm going to start with the physician up here. Let's talk about what did you do different and how did you maintain your business?
Yeah, that was a scary thing because I do
Mm-hmm.
own my own business. I am not a part of it. That almost all physicians are a part of a huge, practice of people. And I always make the joke I'm a dinosaur. I'm one of the very few people left that own my own business and
Mm-hmm.
remain independent with it. The lucky thing about it is everybody needs a PCP and a family practitioner. So I kind of had some job security, especially during a pandemic where people are getting sick. They have blood
Right.
pressure problems. They need their meds. But the scary thing was that nobody was coming to the clinic. The numbers, got killed. I went from seeing, somewhere between 30 and 40 people a day down to seeing like 5 or 6 a day. That does not pay the bills.
Right.
So what was wonderful is that they flipped us over and allowed us to do telemedicine.
Mm-hmm.
And the lucky thing is that I had the ability to reach people since I am closer to my patients than most corporate doctors are closer to theirs. I was
Mm-hmm.
able to reach out to people and get them to understand we could do telemedicine and push from that in. But we almost lost out several times, and it was me. I had to facilitate. I had to think ahead. I had to be creative and just it was me. I had to do it. And so
Well,
we just
because I'm in that field from the business side, I literally, what God had done for me is He kind of put me on a journey, maybe about a year and a half prior to, where I was setting my physicians up with telemedicine.
mhm.
Just kind of going there, and I don't even, again, I know what he was doing. I just didn't, it was not the plan. And so I was setting them all up. So when the pandemic hit, what I did is my clients were already shifted. They were already prepared to move into the remote. As soon as they open up and said they can start seeing patients again. And fortunately, I only had one client that actually ended up shutting down their business because of the pandemic because they refused prior
Make
to
those
kind of
changes.
listen to the process and,
Right.
and think outside of the box. And
Mhm.
I think that that's what happens with
Yeah.
anything. If you're unwilling to think outside of the box and
Yeah.
bring new ideas, it will affect your business. Dave, what about yours? And was anything affected?
So I started my business late in 2019. So
Hmm.
I didn't have like a huge customer base, a book of business when the pandemic came.
Okay.
So it allowed me to really refocus on my craft and like take advantage of all the online resources. So it actually was a blessing for my type of business. And I'm more in the online space anyways as a
Hmm.
productivity coach. So it allowed me to serve people online. For my clients that were home-based clients, I had to learn how to set up systems so that I can organize them virtually, which actually worked out a lot better than you expected because people were at home and they were wanting to get closets organized and pantries and offices and kids. They had a lot going on at home, so home organization became more important. For my corporate job, it was the same way. Dealing with doctors, we couldn't get into hospitals, but so we
Mhm.
had to move to telemedicine and kind of learn that. But
Mhm.
it worked well for me both on both ends, and I really tried to leverage this new virtual world to its full capacity in business.
And to answer that question as kind of a more big picture, because I think what each of us has said is that we were willing to be flexible. We were willing to
Yes.
think outside the box, and we were willing not to just be afraid and just stop where somebody tells us, no, you can't do that, or it can't be done this way. We were like, okay, well, how can we do it?
How
And I
can we
think
do
in
it
any
exactly?
situation, if you can apply that in any COVID or any situation,
Mm.
then, if a bomb goes off, God forbid, if you just
Yes.
apply yourself in any situation that you've just got to figure it out. And
You
that's,
know, and that goes right back to, again, putting yourself out there.
mm,
The conversation is you cannot be afraid to move. You can't be afraid to try something different. The I believe the answer to all of our situations is in us. Whether it's in us to do it, but it's definitely in us with the resources we have around us. Sometimes it's having a conversation with our girlfriends. Sometimes it's having a conversation with someone that's already in the field and bouncing ideas off. I'm going to come back with another. Oh my God, these questions are coming. I tell you.
great.
Okay, this is from Scott. Hi, Scott. Which are the biggest ups and down situations in your life? Wait, which was the biggest ups and down situations in your life, and who supports you the most, guys? Well, the biggest ups and downs in my life was balancing mom, wife, and I think my biggest supporter ever is going to be, I would have to say, my husband, and then, of course, my children and my mom. So that's my supporter, but definitely my husband.
Family.
Anybody else? Jump in there. Same
Um,
question.
yeah, I was looking at Scott's picture because he's getting a pedicure and got some wine. I was like, okay,
Okay, Scott. Oh, I didn't see
I
that.
was looking at it, but biggest ups and downs. I share your sentiments down with just balancing the family life, up and
Yes.
down, and when things happen here, you got to adjust there. But
Yes.
I've learned to be at peace with the discomfort and the roller coaster ride. That's just how
Mm-hmm.
it is with entrepreneurship, and it feels so good to me now, finally, to be uncomfortable in this space.
Right. Right.
My husband too is a big supporter, but also um, I found my tribe of fellow mompreneurs, whether they are their kids are grown or they're in the space like me. And this group of this mompreneur tribe like really energizes me and supports me, and we all kind of have the same thing. So a lot of times the people like that are big supporters for me as well.
Okay. Anybody else?
I had a little bit different experience of my big ups and downs. I've had lots of big ups and downs. I didn't make it into medical school the first time, got around that. Had family and had a lot of sickness and pregnancy and sickness and whatnot. So I think there's kind of some regular ups and downs, and you do just have to bend and go with it. I had some extraordinary circumstances that occurred, and that shocked me as to I would love to go back to the regular ups and downs. I think I could manage that okay. When I got pushed into some very, like I say, very strange, very unusual downs for a very long period of time, I kind of had to master all of that alone.
Mm.
And going through a divorce, had a lot of people around me who were extorting my business and not extorting, investing, excuse me, and a lot of craziness going on. Had to do a lot of it on my own, and I just had to find some extraordinary will within to overcome all of that. And I eventually found good support around with choosing friends a lot more carefully. Actually, my ex-husband came back around and took care of all of a lot of things, and that was an interesting experience too.
Yes.
And all, but yeah, sometimes you got to do it alone, and that's not a comfortable place to be.
But
person.
I think that that is a time where you're actually probably your most productive because sometimes you have to sit alone to hear
Yeah.
and really kind of figure things out that you, if you're so busy all the time and everybody's giving you their advice, it kind of clouds you. Wouldn't
It
you
does.
agree? Wouldn't you agree? I think we have another question on here. If we go up, I think it was up there. It's going so fast. I think we have another.
Answered most.
Oh, we
of them.
answered most of them
Yeah.
right now. Actually,
There's this one, but I don't really know what it's talking about.
okay, let me try it. Let me try it. I don't like to leave anybody out. So Howard Hale, okay, what did he say? What makes you decide that yes is, wait, this is the thing that I can do better for all of us? Okay.
I think that's when Assata was talking about being a caregiver.
Oh, okay. Well, and that can be in any business.
Yeah.
Like, what makes you think? I kind of understand where he's going, and it may be from a perspective as he appears to be a young adult trying to figure out what makes your idea be something that you can do better, or do you have to feel like you're the one or you're the best one to do it? Can anybody take that aside, or anyone else?
Um,
And
I'm
if
one
you
of those
can't,
people.
what would you?
I'm a no boundaries person.
Okay.
So I'm the person. My saying, I go where there's no path and make a trail. So for me, a lot of times I was told so much. You guys summed up my life in each one of your answers in the last. So I want to just bounce and piggyback off of those. I struggled and went through a lot. So being able to get inside here and know. So yes, you can do whatever it is that you want. If you feel it, you believe it, you definitely can achieve it. And I know that because I'm sitting here saying it because I did it. I was told no, you cannot. My mother used to say can't ain't a word. So for those who say you can, you can't. When we came here, there were things created already that we followed.
Yes.
So you can create something also for the world to follow. So yes, and that's really how it is, not how I feel. This is how I live. And I've spoken, and everything that I want to happen in my life is happening. Everything hasn't
Wonderful.
happened, but it's in existence and it's happening. So yes.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody else?
I
When
think
I
if
saw
you're
that,
go,
oh,
Uday,
Go
go.
ahead. Go ahead,
when I
Dave.
something that said that it can make it better for all of us, I thought
Uh-huh.
about if he's asking more around making a choice to start a business, is the sacrifice going to be better for everyone, right? Because it is a sacrifice for you and your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, and I think it goes along with what you guys have said about having that feeling inside of you that you're destined for something, and then when you try and it feels like doors are opening and the path is clearing, those are like little signs. Really don't know. You're stepping out on faith. We don't know, but I think that's how you know that you're on the right track. And if it feels like wall, 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 hard, 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 to me, I feel like maybe you take a step back and reevaluate, or maybe seek counsel or redo it differently. But I think that's how you can decide if it's better for everyone, is when it's in you to do it, you feel called to do it, and then once you step out, doors open, and it works in a way that is beneficial at the end of the day for everyone.
Great, great
You
answer.
cannot overthink things. And
Yeah.
if you hit wall, 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 or if you hit, struggle, struggle, and self doubt and all these things, it can be very overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you literally, when somebody just says, you have to take things one day at a time, one step at a time, there's no bigger truth. You do. You cannot think too. I mean, you want to dream too far. That's always wonderful. You
Yeah.
can do, but when you put things into action, I think you have to just take things a step at a time
Yes.
and don't
Mm-hmm.
overthink it, because you'll sink yourself in
Right.
thoughts within yourself. So you really have to control that. And then when you do things like that and take things a step at a time and just work each problem, individually, it does wind up better for the whole. Just being patient and attending to, if something requires, like your family requires your attention, you have to give it attention. Just try not to think this, oh well, this is going to take everything over, I'm just going to quit because I have to pay so much attention. I thought about that in weight loss.
Yes.
So
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
we always
Yes.
have right? We always have stress. People say, well, I'm just under so much stress right now, or I can't work out because I twisted my ankle. And I'm like, well, if you can't work out because you twisted your ankle, well, then don't work your ankle, but work the rest of your body.
That's right.
There's
There you
That's
go.
right. That's
things you
right.
I
can
love
do,
it. Yes.
And
right?
that thing too, delay doesn't mean denied.
Right.
Yes.
Sometimes there's a pause, like you said, we have to regroup and step back. Delay doesn't mean denied. There's lessons and blessings. There's the blessings in those lessons at times. You know what I'm saying? We go through those humps. It's like, oh my God, why? No, there may be a reason why. It's almost like when you're driving, you got that road race thing. Get out of the way. I'm trying to get here. But you might be behind this car for a particular reason. So you're not two cars up when that incident happens.
Mhm.
Right.
So fall
Right.
back for a minute. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and learning that. And I'm not saying it's always easy on that level, because when we want what we want, we're after it. Our
Yeah.
mission is always keep going. So we do not catch a pause, but sometimes you got to catch a
Important.
pause, and it's okay.
And I
Yes.
have something else that I would throw in there too. I think it's, a lot of times we're believing that we should just get out there and have it all together. It's always good to seek counsel.
Mhm.
Seek counsel. Find you someone that you can mentor with. One of the things and I think that when I first started out, had I had a person that could mentor me, or I felt comfortable going to, or I had someone that was doing what I wanted to do that I can go and sit with, and that can pour into me, I think I probably would have avoided some of the pitfalls that I
Mhm.
had early on. But I think, and that's why I spend a lot of time now pouring in and mentoring, because I I don't ever want anyone to experience something like what I went through, because it can be crushing for you. It could really make you feel like just giving up and never following your dream.
Right. Yeah.
And so, seek counsel, get a mentor, find someone that would mentor you, even if it means do an internship. When you're trying to start something, don't always look how much am I going to get out of it financially. You want to figure out what's important for your career path, what's important for your business. Sometimes you're going to have to give a lot to get something on the other end. So that's my thought on that.
Yeah.
Would you agree? All righty.
Oh
Absolutely.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
I've taught, I have over, I think about 15,000 hours now in training in nurse practitioners, PAs, medical students, and all kinds of students and shadowing, whatnot. Never been paid a dime for it. And
Hmm.
Right.
that is
Right.
a system of paying it forward, because I'm there
Yes.
anyway. You might as well come join me. Let me teach you something, learn and watch
Yes.
me do it, hoping that they'll go on and do something special. But I know, God forbid, when I die, there's over 15,000 hours out there of something that I've passed along, and that's all for free. That means more to me than money ever will.
And people, I think today, if you get that piece right there, uh,
Hmm.
when you're giving, honestly, when you're giving, trust me, it's coming back.
It
It's
is.
going to come back when you least expect it, but when you need it most.
Yep.
So just start leading with giving and trying to help someone else out. You want to go ahead and put that up there? There you go. I'm going to allow you guys. This is Lauren Burt. As an entrepreneur, did you face any difficulties in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Doc.
Oh, we all did. I know all of us.
Yes,
All
oh
four of us.
God.
And
Whoever
that's
wants to take that,
right.
whoever wants to.
That's the essence of it, though. I mean, yeah, you're going to have trouble. So just expect it,
Yeah.
anticipate it. Don't be
Yes.
afraid of it. But like I told my buddy is like, please don't look for perfection in the beginning of anything.
Yeah.
It's not going to be.
It's
And
not.
take the counsel of somebody else who's done it before you, even if you listen to a couple of podcasts or read some books, as it used to be for us. But you've got to watch and learn and step back. You've got to make mistakes, and you've got to not have unrealistic expectations from the beginning. And that's just my piece of the pie for it.
Oh, wow.
And even now, I still seek counsel. I still go. I still have mentors. I still need the same things some of the same things I needed then. If things start to feel different or change, or I'm needing to rebrand myself, whatever it is, and to keep myself, I still do the same things like we are now. So it still doesn't stop. The growing and the learning doesn't stop, so that I can continue to be much more successful or
Correct.
learn, add more to where I'm going in the future. So yeah.
All righty. I can't believe it. Y'all know what time it is. We've already went almost 45 minutes, and I said, but I don't want to cut off right at 10 without really giving you guys another opportunity to just pour in. So I'm going to start with Day. If you can share with the almost 400 people that are out here, 400 people out here really enjoying our conversation. What would you want to leave them with? Someone that's thinking about putting their self out there. What would you want to leave them with?
What I've learned is even despite my flaws, even despite your flaws and whatever shortcomings you have in your head, you have a gift inside of you that when you share to others changes somebody's lives completely. You may not know what that is. And so you will be doing a disservice to whoever that is who needs that one thing that you do better than anybody else. So it's almost as if your path to entrepreneurship is one of the most selfless acts that you can do, that you're going to be passing on to someone else to help change their lives. And if you can hold on to that when, not if, you go through the ups and downs, you feel like giving up, the kids, the job, the bankruptcies, the lawyers, all the things happen. Just remember that this is a gift that you're giving. And like Dr. Pinkston say, it's going to give back to you. As long as you're giving to others, it's always going to come back.
Absolutely.
Wonderful,
That's
wonderful.
right.
Exactly. Okay, Dr. Pinkston, you want to go
Well,
ahead?
I'm not sure I can say it any better than that.
Any better, right?
Say
Of
Dai
course.
Smith, comma, badass, because she
Yeah.
really is. She
Just stay
does it so
believing. Just stay
I
believing.
love
badass.
it. I
But it
love it.
is. I think the
S-
inner, just to be brave and step out. You cannot
Mhm.
deny yourself within something that you feel is right for you, because, like she said, that is a gift. And I think that whether you believe in God, the universe, or whatever it is that you believe in, it is something that is given to you, and I think you're obligated to listen to that and move forward with it, because if
That's
not,
right.
you will have that regret, and it will affect your self-esteem, and that does rub off on other people, your children and
yes.
other
That's
people.
right.
They will not, and you just cannot. You're obligated to yourself and those around you. So she covered the obligated to everybody else in the gift, and then I'll turn around and say you're obligated to yourself,
Yes.
to do that in order to give your gift. And absolutely, I agree with that 100%.
All righty. And Asada, what would you like
I'll
to leave
just
them
I'll
with?
just say, hey, just stay believing and knowing that you can. And the moments that you're gonna have weekdays and things like that, but just know that you can. And if you have any issues with that, pull this back up. Pull this version of her show up and listen to all of us all over again.
Oh,
And get yourself some
Well
strength
said.
and some power and some go forward and motivation. That's what I'll
oh,
say.
all righty then. Well, again, I don't want, I'm going to do something a little different because we do have a recording artist on here. And I want to bless if you don't mind, Asada, you were not ready for this. And this
You're
is
gonna make her
really
sing.
what I do. If you can give us a quick, I know, I know. You know, when I first met her, I did this to her. She didn't know me, I didn't know her. And the Holy Spirit said, literally, I'm not lying. The Holy Spirit said, ask her to sing. And I'm like, God, no, you can't be serious. And he said, asked her to sing. And I literally walked up to her and I said, you need to sing me a song. Did I not? Did I not,
And I
Dave?
and I never do that.
And
And it just
she, when
happened
I
that way.
tell
It was
you, she
weird.
blessed my
Very
soul. I have to say, just a quick little line.
of
She blessed my soul.
oh Lord.
Twinkle,
Okay,
twinkle, little star.
okay.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. Say you can find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we can walk it out. Move mountains, we can walk it out and move mountains. And I rise like the day, I rise up, I rise unafraid, I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again.
All righty then.
Oh,
So beautiful. I know her voice is she was not prepared for it, and of course she don't have a mic and everything going on, but you did an amazing job, and I think it was so appropriate for what we're talking about today. Putting yourself out there. As you said, Assata, rise up. Ladies, Day,
Right.
Dr. Pinkerton, just thank you guys. I'm just so grateful that you guys believe in me, believe in the platform, and are willing to just get out here and pour into others. We'll be back. I don't know when we're going to have it again, but I think we will be back. And I love you guys, and bye.
thank you. Thank you.
Bye bye.